Chapter 341, A Matter of 3 Minutes. Part 7. Li Xiandao looked at Zhong Ziki, especially at the demon in his mind, and asked, "So what do you want our Heaven and Earth Bank to help you with?" "Help me destroy this demon. I don't want to be possessed by it. It has already entered my mind, and I can feel that once I leave here, it will devour me," Zhong Ziki said anxiously. Da. Li Xiandao tapped his fingers on the table and calmly said, "You just said this demon is very powerful. What price are you willing to pay to get us to help you eliminate such a powerful demon?" Zhong Ziki took a deep breath and said, "I have many treasures that I can take out." Li Xiandao looked at him calmly and said, "No matter how many treasures you have, are they more important than your life?" "I have a magical artifact," Zhong Ziki exclaimed anxiously. Li Xiandao paused for a moment, then changed the subject, saying, "Your life still needs to be protected by treasures." Zhong Ziki nodded and said, "I have a celestial artifact that I can take out and ask you to help me destroy this demon." Seeing how easily he produced a celestial artifact, Li Xiandao tapped the table and said calmly, "One celestial artifact is not enough." Zhong Ziki was taken aback. One immortal artifact wasn't enough? Xiaoqi secretly gave Li Xiandao a thumbs up. Greed is good. Since Zhong Ziki can travel all over the heavens and explore for treasures everywhere, he must have a lot of treasures. Li Xiandao will not show any mercy. This demon has no body and wants to possess you. Once you die, all your treasures will belong to it. All your years of hard work and struggle will become someone else's overnight, Li Xiandao said softly. These words greatly affected Zhong Ziki. The thought that the treasures he had painstakingly collected would become the property of this demon caused him a pang of heartache. It's like you're seriously ill and about to die, and your wife immediately remarries and your child immediately changes their surname and calls someone else father. You'll either die of anger or die of frustration. Zhong Ziki was a man, and he could not bear such humiliation. 2 celestial artifacts. Zhong Ziki held up 2 fingers. He said firmly. Li Xiandao blinked, surprised by the unexpected gain of acquiring 2 immortal artifacts. "This is the biggest profit we've made since signing so many contracts." But Li Xiandao still disagreed, shaking his head and saying, "It's still a bit short." Li Xiandao still wanted to extort more treasures from Zhong Ziki. His intuition told him that Zhong Ziki could still be extorted for more treasures. Not even 2 immortal artifacts. Zhong Ziki's eyes widened, and at that moment he realized Li Xiandao's greed. "Do you think 2 immortal artifacts can prolong your life?" Li Xiandao asked in return. Zhong Ziki immediately fell silent. "When we talk about deals, we never set a price. Instead, it's about what you need and I give you what you need. But when I give you something, I make sure you pay a huge price, so that it's worth your life," Li Xiandao explained. Xiaoqi couldn't help but look at Li Xiandao in a new light, realizing for the first time that Li Xiandao was truly a cunning businessman. However, she quite liked his shrewd businessman appearance, since it was all for the sake of generating revenue for Qiandi Money Shop. Zhong Ziki gritted his teeth and said, "I have already paid a huge price." He held up 2 fingers and said helplessly, "I've only acquired 2 immortal artifacts in my entire life, and now I'm taking them both out. Let's add a little more, otherwise we won't be able to reach an agreement and you'll have to leave." Li Xiandao sighed and began preparing to see the guest out. 2 immortal artifacts and a rough map of the 9 heavens, Zhong Ziki said through gritted teeth. Seeing that he seemed to have reached his limit, Li Xiandao stopped pressuring him and said, "All right, deal." Xiaoqi immediately handed over the contract and winked at Li Xiandao, meaning that Li Xiandao had done a great job. "Sign it. After you sign, I'll help you eliminate the demon in your mind," Li Xiandao said calmly, handing over the contract. Zhong Ziki carefully read the contract, made sure there was nothing unfavorable to him, and then decisively signed it. "Please help me deal with this demon quickly. I'm feeling very panicked. The demon is in my mind. If he sees some of my secrets, I'll be in big trouble," Zhong Ziki said anxiously. Li Xiandao handed the contract to Xiaoqi, then stood up and walked behind Zhong Ziki, whispering, "It's all right, close your eyes." Zhong Ziki closed his eyes, trembling. "Relax, just think of it as a nap. When you wake up, everything will be fine," Li Xiandao said casually. "I can't relax," Zhong Ziki said nervously. "I am a professional, and I trust professionals," Li Xiandao said firmly. "What's your specialty?" Zhong Ziki asked cautiously. "Being a boss is professional, but eliminating demons is amateurish. But it's okay, you'll get used to it after a few more times," Li Xiandao said casually. Zhong Ziki's heart pounded in fright. Those words were terrifying. Seeing that he couldn't relax and was tense all over, Li Xiandao frowned and gently pressed his neck. Click. Zhong Ziki's head suddenly spun and he collapsed, but fortunately Li Xiandao supported him and prevented him from falling. Seeing this, Xiao Qi said, "Master made a good deal." A demon who entered the Heaven and Earth Bank was exchanged for 2 immortal artifacts and a detailed map of the 9 heavens. Li Xiandao removed his mask, smiled slightly, and said, "I already said I wanted to be a shrewd businessman." Once the demon entered the Heaven and Earth Bank, he was completely at Li Xiandao's mercy. It would be easy for him to drag him out and eliminate him as easily as turning his hand. However, Zhong Ziki was unaware that he had been tricked by Li Xiandao into giving him 2 immortal artifacts and a map. "Go and get a jade box," Li Xiandao instructed Xiao Qi. "Why do we need the jade box? It would be much better to just eliminate this demon directly, crush him with a flick of the wrist," Xiao Qi said bluntly. Inside the Heaven and Earth Bank, Li Xiandao could truly crush this demon with a flick of his wrist. Since he's a shrewd businessman, he should maximize his profits. This devil is very powerful, so killing him like this would be a complete waste. We should keep him and interrogate him carefully. We're sure to get something else out of him, Li Xiandao said shrewdly. Upon hearing this, Xiao Qi gave Li Xiandao a sweet smile and said, "You've already become a qualified shrewd businessman." She ran to get the jade box and returned quickly, handing it to Li Xiandao. Li Xiandao took the jade box and gently scratched Zhong Ziki's head. A wisp of demonic energy was slowly pulled out by Li Xiandao. He was still unconscious, having been suppressed by the power of the Heaven and Earth Bank. He won't wake up any time soon. Li Xiandao tossed it directly into the jade box, then closed it, placed it on his table, wiped his hands, put on his mask, and snapped his fingers. Zhong Ziki slowly opened his eyes, looked at Li Xiandao, and asked in confusion, "How long have I been asleep?" "It's been 3 days, Li Xiandao said casually, his purpose being to let Zhong Ziki know how difficult it was to save him, and that his 2 immortal artifacts were well spent. In reality, it only took about 3 minutes in total. "It's been 3 days. Zhong Ziki exclaimed in surprise. "I'm a professional," Li Xiandao said confidently with a smile. Chapter 342 The Heavenly Staff. Part 1. Zhong Ziki carefully examined himself, especially his mind, and finally found no trace of the demon. "That's great, I'm all right now," Zhong Ziki said excitedly. Li Xiandao looked at him calmly, waiting for his excitement to subside, and said, "I have fulfilled my promise. Where is yours?" Zhong Ziki calmed down and used his magic to repair his broken leg while taking out 2 magical artifacts. A very rough iron rod, pitted and uneven, with many collision marks, as if it had been through countless battles, its exterior broken into this state. A scroll depicting the surging waves of the Azure Sea unfolds, revealing a miniature world within its expanse. This is a support-type immortal artifact, not particularly powerful, but with ample space and an endless ocean, capable of gathering spiritual energy and becoming a treasured heirloom of a great family. Zhong Ziki said reluctantly, "I obtained these 2 immortal artifacts from the ruins. They are extremely powerful. Now, exchanging them for my life is quite worthwhile." Despite saying this, he still reluctantly handed the immortal artifact to Li Xiandao. Li Xiandao took the 2 immortal artifacts, looked at the iron rod, and saw 2 small characters engraved on the bottom of the rod. Juntian. Is this celestial artifact the heavenly staff? Li Xiandao asked in confusion. It should be. I obtained this immortal artifact in Juntian, so it's normal for it to have this name. I suspect that this immortal artifact is from a very ancient era, probably forged when the 9 heavens could still contend with the immortal realm. Zhong Ziki nodded and said, "It's been so many years, can it still be used?" Li Xiandao asked doubtfully. "The restrictions inside are still in place, so of course it can be used," Zhong Ziki said matter-of-factly. Li Xiandao channeled his true energy into the immortal artifact, immediately discovering that it contained numerous restrictions. Although many of the immortal seals have broken, many are still usable. Although it is old and worn, it is still a divine artifact. Li Xiandao left behind the 2 immortal artifacts, saying, "There's still one thing missing." Zhong Ziki took out a rough map of the 9 heavens and said, "This is a unique map. I drew it myself when I passed through the 9 heavens. It is more detailed than other people's maps." Upon closer inspection, Li Xiandao found that the markings were indeed very detailed, covering most areas and even some minor details. "All right, I've solved your problem, and you've paid your price. You can leave now. I look forward to your return to trade after you obtain the immortal artifact." With a wave of his hand, Li Xiandao caused Zhong Ziki's body to fade and disappear from the heaven and earth bank. Deep in the mountains and forests, in a dilapidated Taoist temple, a figure appears in the eerie darkness, leaning against the wall. Zhong Ziki looked around with relief and gasped for breath. "I'm alive. It's unbelievable. I was almost possessed." With his legs still slowly healing, Zhong Ziki didn't rush to stand up. Instead, he looked around to make sure no one was around before taking out his treasure vault. A divine artifact. Landscape painting. Upon opening the landscape map, it immediately bursts into a dazzling display of gold, jewels, and countless magical treasures and immortal artifacts. It was well worth extorting 2 of the worst immortal artifacts for my life. Zhong Ziki was very satisfied with his acting skills, as he hadn't been extorted by Li Xiandao for any more immortal artifacts. "I have roamed the 9 heavens, explored countless treasure lands, and obtained countless treasures. How could I possibly possess only 1 or 2 immortal artifacts?" Zhong Ziki smiled smugly. He dared to say that no one in the entire 9 heavens had more immortal artifacts than him. Giving Li Xiandao 2 items would be perfectly harmless. These magical artifacts must be kept. I also need to collect the blood-red pocket watches later. In case of any life-threatening situation, I can seek help from the Heavenly Bank. Zhong Ziki silently planned. He estimated that his immortal artifact should be able to get the Heavenly Bank to save him more than 10 times. If Li Xiandao knew this, he would definitely regret it. He was too kind. Inside the Heaven and Earth Bank, Li Xiandao looked at the 2 immortal artifacts, neither of which suited him. "Summon the Titans," Li Xiandao said to Shao Qi. "You want to bestow the heavenly staff upon the Titan?" Shao Qi asked. Li Xiandao nodded and said, "He is very suitable. Titans are incredibly strong, capable of hurling stars, and at their peak, a Titan can even carry an entire world on its back. They are an extremely powerful race. The heavenly staff is also a powerful and heavy immortal weapon." Li Xiandao carefully considered his subordinates, and it seemed that he was the most suitable one. After careful consideration, Shao Qi realized it was indeed a good fit, and she immediately notified the Titans. "What about the picture of the blue sea waves?" Shao Qi asked. Li Xiandao looked at the Azure Sea Waves diagram, which was a support-type magic weapon with little offensive capability. "Let's give this magical artifact to Lord Donkey. It has the ability to find and explore treasures, so it's very suitable to give this magical artifact to it," Li Xiandao said. "Should I notify it to come over now?" Shao Qi asked. "Tell it to bring the Phoenix Dragon Sparrow of the Golden Family over with it. It's been in my Heaven and Earth Bank for so long, and I haven't talked to her yet. Does Lord Donkey intend to take her as a pet or as a wife?" Li Xiandao asked. Shao Qi shook her head. "You should ask Master Donkey when he comes over. I don't know." Li Xiandao sat in the trading hall, waiting for a moment, when a 3-meter-tall figure rushed over with a thunderous roar, shouting, "Master, did you call me?" Li Xiandao didn't speak, but simply reached out and flicked the Jun Tian staff, sending it flying. Rumble. The heavenly staff was incredibly powerful, sweeping across the area with a thunderous roar, as if it carried an incomparably terrifying force. The Titan glared, his muscles bulged, and he reached out to grab. Thump. The Titan grabbed the heavenly staff and slammed it into the ground, the sound echoing throughout the trading hall. It felt like a tremendous force crashing into the main hall. Fortunately, the Heaven and Earth Bank's defenses were maxed out, otherwise the main hall would have been in serious trouble. "Master, what is this?" the Titan asked excitedly, gripping the heavenly staff and his blood surging. "A celestial artifact, the heavenly staff," Li Xiandao said calmly, looking at him. "For me?" The Titan looked at Li Xiandao with surprise. "Yes." Li Xiandao nodded and said, "Thank you, Master." The Titan was so moved that his eyes filled with tears. He suddenly knelt down and kowtowed loudly. "This immortal artifact is extremely ancient. I feel it has a very rich history. You should refine it carefully. When I am able to do so in the future, I will help you repair the broken immortal restrictions inside and restore it to its former glory." Li Xiandao said gently, satisfied with the Titan's attitude. "I will definitely refine it properly. This immortal artifact is just what I want. One strike of this iron rod will kill any enemy. There are no fancy tricks, just ultimate power." The Titan stood up, admiring the heavenly staff. Chapter 343 Proposal, Part 2. The Titan Dali was overjoyed to receive the heavenly staff. He touched it with great affection, his smile as bright as a blooming chrysanthemum. When Lord Donkey arrived, he saw the Titan standing in front of the trading hall, grinning like a fool. He flicked his tail and asked, "Why are you laughing so happily?" "My master just bestowed upon me a divine artifact," the Titan boasted proudly, showing off his heavenly staff. "A celestial artifact." Lord Donkey's eyes widened. It had long heard that Li Xiandao would bestow celestial artifacts upon his subordinates, but it had never seen one before and thought that he would not do so again. Unexpectedly, it witnessed one today. The Phoenix Dragon Sparrow, who had entered with Lord Donkey, was also wide-eyed with surprise. The owner of this Heaven and Earth Bank was so generous that he even bestowed immortal artifacts upon his subordinates. "Master summoned you and me today. I've obtained a celestial artifact. What do you think about yourself?" The Titan giant chuckled, reminding the donkey. The donkey's eyes lit up, and its heart surged with excitement. It immediately took off running, calling out in a drawn-out voice, "Master, I'm coming." Inside the trading hall, Li Xiandao heard Lord Donkey's voice, frowned, and said to Xiao Qi, "Did I choose the wrong person?" Xiao Qi said helplessly, "It seems that they have taken a fancy to the Phoenix Dragon Sparrow. Just consider it a big gift for your subordinate." Lord Donkey came running in happily, and immediately knelt down on all four hooves, shouting, "Master, your most loyal subordinate, Lord Donkey, pays his respects." Phoenix Dragon Sparrow and Titan Giant followed them in. Titan Giant didn't mind at all, and even thought that Lord Donkey's behavior was normal. Phoenix Dragon Sparrow felt a little embarrassed. But she immediately realized that this was Lord Donkey losing face. What did it have to do with her? "Get up, this is for you." Li Xiandao threw the painting of the azure sea waves directly to Lord Donkey. Li Xiandao was very generous when it came to giving things to his subordinates. Since they were all working for him anyway, and he didn't need them, he might as well increase their combat power. "Thank you, Master. Thank you, Master. Thank you, Master." Donkey Lord kowtowed excitedly, embracing the azure sea waves diagram and feeling the power of the immortal artifact. Then, he pulled Phoenix Dragon Sparrow along with him to kneel down and thank Li Xiandao. Phoenix Dragon Sparrow was completely bewildered as she was pulled to thank him. What did this have to do with her? Li Xiandao watched them silently. He asked, "You're thanking me, but why are you pulling that girl along?" Phoenix Dragon Sparrow glared at Lord Donkey and shouted, "Why are you thanking me for dragging me along? Aren't you my wife?" Lord Donkey asked. "Did I agree?" Phoenix Dragon Sparrow asked coldly. "So, do you agree?" Lord Donkey asked, not angry at all. "I don't." Phoenix Dragon Sparrow wanted to blurt out, "Here, take this and think about it carefully." Lord Donkey immediately stuffed the immortal artifact, the Azure Sea Waves diagram, into the Phoenix Dragon Sparrow's arms. Phoenix Dragon Sparrow couldn't finish her sentence. This is a celestial artifact. If she had this magical artifact, wouldn't she be able to easily kill Lord Donkey? Use Lord Donkey's magical artifact to kill Lord Donkey. Phoenix Dragon Sparrow felt that it was possible to feign compliance for a while. "My magic weapon, my treasure, everything I have can be given to my wife. So tell me, are you willing to be my wife?" Lord Donkey asked. "You're a donkey, and I'm a human. Although I also have demon blood, I am still human in essence," Phoenix Dragon Sparrow said irritably. "It's all right. I have a cultivation method here that allows demons to transform into humans. As long as you agree to marry Lord Donkey, I can personally make the decision for you and transform Lord Donkey into human form in no time," Xiandao added. Lord Donkey said earnestly, "How about it? My master is so good to me. He bestowed a celestial artifact upon me and even stood up for me. If you marry me, I swear I will treat you well." Phoenix Dragon Sparrow fell silent, pondering how to escape her current predicament. "You're over 10,000 years old, and I'm only a few decades old," Phoenix Dragon Sparrow said unwillingly. "It's all right. Although I'm over 10,000 years old, I'm still a novice." "Don't worry, I'm very clean," Master Donkey whispered. "Still a novice after more than 10,000 years?" Phoenix Dragon Sparrow asked in surprise. Xiandao said with dissatisfaction, "What, do you look down on newbies?" If you include the time Xiandao spent in the Time Palace, he is almost 2,000 years old. He's a newbie too. "No, I need to think about it carefully. It's a major life event, and I need to inform the elders of my family," Phoenix Dragon Sparrow said, stalling for time. "All the elders of your golden family who came to the Tian Shan Mountains this time are dead," Xiandao said calmly. "Then what about my father?" Huanglong's expression changed, and she glared at Xiandao. "Your father came the first time, but not the second time. Don't be rude to your master," Lord Donkey said sternly. Phoenix Dragon Sparrow breathed a sigh of relief. It was good that he hadn't come. Her father was not dead, so she could rest assured. As for the other elders, Huanglong doesn't care. "If you want to marry me, you need to come back to the Golden Family with me and inform my parents. Only when my parents agree will it be official. Don't even think about me agreeing to you in private." Phoenix Dragon Sparrow thought of a way to buy time and also get out of the Heaven and Earth Bank. After thinking it over carefully, Mr. Donkey said, "You're right, I should tell my father-in-law and mother-in-law." "Master, may I take the Phoenix Dragon Sparrow to the Golden Family to propose marriage?" Lord Donkey asked Xiandao, his eyes pleading. Having been single for over 10,000 years and never having touched a female donkey, Lord Donkey always thought being single was great. However, ever since he adopted the Phoenix Dragon Sparrow as his pet, he has developed feelings for love and wants to get married. Xiandao nodded and said, "Of course. You are my subordinate, and I am your elder. The bank will provide a generous gift. You can take him into the Golden Family and go to propose marriage." The donkey said gratefully, "Thank you, Master. Thank you, Master." For Lord Donkey, the greatest gain at this moment was not obtaining a celestial artifact, but that Phoenix Dragon Sparrow agreed to let him go to the Golden Family to propose marriage. "Don't be too happy yet, my parents might not agree," Huanglong said with a start. "It's all right. If your parents don't agree, my men will definitely not bother you. If your parents disagree, Master Donkey will come back immediately, and you will be free." Xiandao agreed without hesitation. "Really?" Phoenix Dragon Sparrow looked at Xiandao with surprise. feeling that Li Xiandao was a good master. They are reasonable and know that forced relationships are never happy. A fleeting smile crossed Li Xiandao's face beneath his mask, revealing the naivety of Xiao Huang Longke. The elders of the Golden Family had been wiped out by Li Xiandao on Mount Tian. The Golden Family certainly knew that Li Xiandao possessed the cultivation of an emperor. If Lord Donkey were to propose marriage at this time, her parents would definitely agree. Go out, Lord Donkey. Go to the Universal Library and find a book on the art of transformation to practice. I'll have Tian Guangming and Huang Zhouer escort you to propose marriage. Li Xiandao waved his hand and said. Chapter 344 The Dragon Departs. Part 3. After leaving the trading hall, Lord Donkey and the others went their separate ways. The Titan, wielding the heavenly staff, swiftly returned to refine this celestial artifact, making it his natal magic weapon. Once activated, it could shatter the 9 heavens with a single blow. Lord Donkey went to the Universal Library and, with Li Xiandao's permission, sought a book on the art of transformation. Previously, Donkey Lord might not have thought of it, as he had always felt that his original form was quite good. However, now that he was going to propose to the Golden Family, Donkey Lord felt that he should transform into a human. Phoenix Dragon Sparrow silently followed Lord Donkey, holding the Azure Sea Waves diagram in her hand. Just as Lord Donkey was about to leave, she said, "You can take this immortal artifact." Lord Donkey was taken aback, then said, "This is for you." Phoenix Dragon Sparrow said impatiently, "We are not engaged yet. This immortal artifact is too precious. I cannot accept it." Seeing this, Lord Donkey laughed and said, "Anyway, we're going to your family to ask for your hand in marriage soon, so you can refine this immortal artifact first, as a gift from me." After saying this, Lord Donkey didn't turn his head and headed straight for the Universal Library. Phoenix Dragon Sparrow watched Donkey Lord's retreating figure and snorted softly. "Want me to marry you? Dream on. The honor of the Golden Family will not allow it, and neither will my parents." After receiving Li Xiandao's promise, Huang Glonk felt that she could not kill Lord Donkey and anger Li Xiandao, so her current goal was to return to the Golden Family and make her parents reject the marriage, so that she would be free. Li Xiandao is the owner of the Heaven and Earth Bank, and he should keep his word, so she doesn't need to take Lord Donkey's magical artifact. To avoid the embarrassment of going back if your parents refuse. However, Lord Donkey did not agree, which left Phoenix Dragon Sparrow helpless. She could only put it away for the time being, and return to her room to cultivate in silence. The spiritual energy inside the Heaven and Earth Bank is still very strong, much denser than outside, making cultivation here progress very quickly. Lord Donkey also began practicing the art of transformation in the Universal Library. With its current cultivation level, practicing the transformation technique is incredibly easy for it. It can master it after just one look, and after practicing it a few times, it will have complete control over it. A few minutes later, the donkey shed its original form and transformed into a young man. She has fair skin, jet black, curly hair, and delicate features. Each feature is beautiful on its own. However, her eyes ruin the overall look. He has a pair of captivating eyes. However, after changing his clothes, Master Donkey was quite satisfied. Wearing a light pink coat, paired with Donkey Master's curly hair and peach blossom eyes, he has a unique kind of handsomeness. The donkey was very satisfied with his appearance, kept looking at himself in the mirror, and then left. Lord Donkey looks so flirtatious, Chiobai muttered in a corner of the Universal Library. I think he's quite flamboyant. His curly hair and flirtatious eyes are already quite flamboyant, but he's also wearing a pink coat. He has good taste, the Prince of the Northern Border said. I heard he's going to the Golden Family to propose marriage, Chiobai gossiped. How did you know? The Prince of the Northern Border asked curiously. That gossipy Tian Guangming told us through various telepathic messages that Master wants him and Huang Zhouer to go to the Golden Family to accompany Lord Donkey in his marriage proposal and protect them, Chiobai said helplessly. This is indeed a joyous occasion. I wonder when I will be able to get married, the Northern Prince said regretfully, as he had never truly considered his previous wedding as a real wedding. Bai pretended not to hear, her face slightly flushed, and did not answer the northern prince. After Tian Guangming transformed into human form, he came to say goodbye to Xiandao. Master, I'm ready to depart, said Lord Donkey, kneeling before Xiandao. Get up. This time, besides proposing marriage, there are some other things I need you to do, Xiandao said calmly. Lord Donkey immediately replied, Master, just give the order, and I will do my duty without hesitation, even at the cost of my life. Xiao Qi brought over several contracts and said, You don't need to go to great lengths. Here are 4 contracts concerning some debts owed by the Heaven and Earth Bank in Cold Moon Heaven. These were all breached contracts, and all within the Golden family's territory. The Golden family also had a contract. After the marriage proposal, these contracts were all resolved. Lord Donkey accepted the contract cleanly and said firmly, Please rest assured, Master and Lord Xiaoqi, I will definitely resolve all the issues related to the contract. This time, Tian Guangming and Huang Zhou are going together. They have a grudge against each other, so I'm giving you the contract. I hope you can lead them and not disappoint me. Xiandao instructed Donkey Master. Master, please rest assured, I will definitely handle things well, Master Donkey assured him. Yes, Xiaoqi and I have also prepared a generous gift. Take it with you when you go to propose marriage, Xiandao said with satisfaction. Xiaoqi handed a jade bracelet with storage space to Master Donkey. Master Donkey took it and was immediately taken aback, saying, Master, this is too precious. Lord Donkey saw that there were 1,000 spiritual dragon veins in the space of the jade bracelet. These things, when used to propose marriage, are a luxury for anyone. Phoenix Dragon Sparrow is just one of the 3 golden flowers of the Golden family. She is a woman, and unless she devotes her life to the Tao and does not marry, have children, or pass on her skills, she will eventually have to get married. No force could possibly provide 1,000 top-grade spiritual dragon veins for the Phoenix Dragon Sparrow. Alright, if you two get married, that will be a joyous occasion for my Heaven and Earth Bank. Since I took over the Heaven and Earth Bank, there has never been a happy occasion here. This is the first time, so let's wish you good luck. 1,000 spiritual dragon veins are nothing. Xiandao waved his hand, telling Master Donkey to stop talking. Let's do it this way. Having acquired the Tian Shan Mountains, Xiandao began to live a life of extravagance. Moved to tears, Lord Donkey knelt down and kowtowed deeply to Xiandao, his eyes red with tears, saying, Master, I will never forget your great kindness and virtue, and I will never leave you in this lifetime. Xiandao smiled lightly and said, Go well. You are my subordinates, and your lives belong to me. I will naturally take responsibility for you. Lord Donkey nodded emphatically, bid farewell to Xiandao, and left with the gifts and contract. 30 seconds after Lord Donkey left, the dragon flew in. The dragon has completely changed. Its horns have stood tall, and its scales have shed their former ugliness and been replaced by dragon scales. Its claws are also becoming more and more like dragon claws. After obtaining the bloodline bead, it continuously purified its bloodline. With the dragon tooth rice given by Xiandao, the dragon never stopped purifying its bloodline. After these days of bloodline purification, the dragon has finally reached an unprecedented peak. He came to ask Xiandao to do something very important. Master, I wish to leave the Heaven and Earth Bank for a while. The dragon flew in, transforming into human form, a cold-looking young man clad in dragon scale armor. He knelt on one knee, head bowed, and said, Chapter 345, Leaping Over the Dragon Gate. Part 4. Xiandao looked at the dragon in surprise and asked, You can transform into human form now? Previously, Xiandao had never seen a dragon transform. He always used his original form, which was very fleshy and bloated. Upon closer inspection, Xiandao was astonished to find that the dragon had actually transformed into human form. Master, the reason I couldn't take human form before was because my bloodline concentration was too low. I've been using the bloodline bead to purify it little by little over this period of time, and I've made great progress now. Only when the bloodline is free of impurities can I take human form, the dragon explained. Li Xiandao understood, and then asked, "What are you going out to do?" The dragon was silent for a moment, then said, "I want to leap over the dragon gate." Li Xiandao asked curiously, "Leaping over the dragon gate?" "Yes." The dragon raised its head and said firmly, "You are only of dragon blood, so what use is leaping over the dragon gate?" Li Xiandao asked, puzzled. In the spacious hall, Li Xiandao stood with his hands behind his back on the steps. Before him, the dragon knelt on one knee, bowing its head and saying, "I am not a dragon." Li Xiandao looked at him and asked curiously, "It seems you have your own story. Tell me about it." The dragon was lost in memories, gritting its teeth as it said, "I am not a dragon, not of mixed blood. My father was one of the 8 clan chiefs, and I am his direct descendant. I am a pure descendant of the dragon race." "Then how did you end up in the 10 lands?" Li Xiandao asked. He's now interested in the origins of the dragon. The dragon in the 10 lands didn't resemble a direct descendant of the dragon race at all. Back then, it was just an ordinary dragon. Li Xiandao never expected that his background would be so bizarre. After entering the 9 heavens, he became a direct descendant of the dragon clan. The dragon lowered its head and gritted its teeth, saying, "I was knocked down by someone." Li Xiandao watched him silently, and that was interesting. "My father is one of the 8 patriarchs of the dragon clan. I am his 10th child. I inherit the direct bloodline of the dragon clan, but my mother is not a member of the dragon clan." The dragon looked at Li Xiandao with a bitter expression and opened his heart. Li Xiandao stood silently, listening attentively. Li Xiandao was quite pleased that the dragon was willing to tell him these things. As the owner of the Heaven and Earth Bank, if his subordinates had any problems and told him, Li Xiandao would definitely help them solve them if he could. "Only when your problems and difficulties are resolved will you wholeheartedly serve me." Li Xiandao firmly believed that subordinates without worries would be the most loyal and hardworking. So he wanted to hear what the dragon had to say. "My mother is the 7-colored sky-swallowing python of the demon clan." The dragon's voice softened. "I was born from the union of the devouring python and the dragon clan chief, someone with direct dragon blood, but mostly hidden bloodlines, looking like a model dragon," the dragon said bitterly. Li Xiandao understood and said, "Because of this, your father banished you from the 9 heavens?" "My father banished me from the dragon clan, and my 9 brothers imprisoned me in the 10 earths, intending to ensure I could never rise again," the dragon said through gritted teeth, his face cold. Li Xiandao reached out his hand and said, "Get up first, and we'll talk slowly." "Yes, sir." The dragon stood up and stood respectfully behind Li Xiandao. Li Xiandao walked out of the trading hall, with the dragon following closely behind. "When you were banished to the 10 earths, did you never think about entering the 9 heavens?" Li Xiandao asked. Stepping out of the time palace, the bright sunshine and beautiful scenery warmed Li Xiandao's entire body. The dragon sighed and said, "How could I not want to enter the 9 heavens? Back then, I was banished to the 10 earths and was on the verge of death. It was the demon frog leader and Lord Donkey who saved me. Since then, I have followed the 2 of them, slowly cultivating and improving myself. Then I met other brothers. During this time, I have been trying to activate my hidden meridians, but to no avail." "Do the demon frog and Lord Donkey know about these things?" Li Xiandao walked to the square, looking at the rising sun, full of vigor, and asked. The dragon, standing behind Li Xiandao, shook its head and said, "They don't know. I didn't tell any of them. Besides, the dragons are far too powerful, and this matter has nothing to do with them. I didn't want them to get involved and harmed." Li Xiandao laughed and said, "Then why are you going to leap over the dragon gate now?" Li Xiandao knew about leaping over the dragon gate, but that was only in legends. In the mythological era, the dragon gate spanned the sea, and countless creatures with dragon bloodlines tried to leap over it, which would activate their bloodline and greatly increase its concentration. However, this is, after all, a legend from the mythological era, and Li Xiandao did not find any such allusions in the Universal Library. The dragon's eyes lit up, and it said, "My mother told me about this dragon leap gate back then." Li Xiandao listened attentively. "My mother said that 10,000 years from now, a dragon gate will rise in the endless ocean of Hanuishan. At that time, countless dragon bloodlines will come here to begin the once-in-10,000 years leap over the dragon gate," said the dragon. "Does this dragon gate appear only once every 10,000 years? Li Xiandao asked. "No, the location and time of the dragon gate's appearance are not fixed." The dragon shook its head. "The last time the dragon gate appeared was 30,000 years ago. At that time, my father crossed the first dragon gate and became the patriarch of one of the 8 major dragon clans. The information my mother told me this time was probably also what he deduced. My father drove me out of the dragon clan, and his last words to me were, 'Don't go back until you've awakened your bloodline,'" the dragon said coldly. "If you awaken your hidden meridians, will you still want to return to the dragon clan?" Li Xiandao asked calmly. "Master, I will call you master for life. I want to awaken my bloodline, not only to prove to the dragons that my bloodline is not impure, but that I just have too many hidden bloodlines, but also to serve you better." The dragon immediately knelt down, kneeling on both knees, and said firmly, "Get up, I definitely believe you." Li Xiandao beckoned the dragon to stand up. The dragon rose up and said, "This time, I want to leap over the dragon gate and become a true dragon soaring through the 9 heavens, clearing all obstacles for the enemy." Li Xiandao asked, "Is this leaping the dragon gate difficult?" "It's very difficult." The dragon nodded. The dragon gate is divided into 9 levels. Each level of the dragon gate is incredibly vast, and each level is more terrifying than the last. Moreover, no matter who you are, you only have one chance in your life. If you don't prepare adequately, you are wasting your chance. So you're going overseas to find the dragon gate now? Li Xiandao asked. "Yes, the day Mother mentioned is approaching, only a month away. I must go and search ahead of time," Jiaolong nodded. "All right, I grant your permission. Go ahead," Li Xiandao readily agreed. "Thank you, Master." "Thank you, Master," the dragon said gratefully. "Remember to protect yourself," Li Xiandao advised. Chapter 346: The Son-in-Law and the Father-in-Law. Part 5. The dragon left to search for the dragon gate. Li Xiandao kept a close eye on him, watching him closely and offering assistance when necessary. After all, he already has an owner. It's not a solitary cultivation. One needs to work hard and make a living on their own. Since he has acknowledged Li Xiandao as his master, he must be responsible for his subordinates. Increase their power and make them serve you. A win-win situation. While Li Xiandao was keeping an eye on the dragon, Donkey Lord, Phoenix Dragon Sparrow, Tian Guangming, and Huang Zhou'er set off together. Li Xiandao paid no attention to this group of people because he knew that Master Donkey's journey would be absolutely without problems. Even though it was bright outside, he felt uneasy because he was setting off with Huang Zhou'er to protect Lord Donkey, and he felt very anxious. After all, Huang Zhou'er had just given him a good beating, and Tian Guangming would never forget that. So he also brought along his beloved apprentice. Li Yue was pulled along by his master and had no choice but to go. He handed his younger sister over to Lamo and then escorted Lord Donkey with his master. With his apprentice by his side, Tian Guangming felt more confident and showed no fear when he looked at Huang Zhou'er. Huang Zhou'er looked at Tian Guangming, smiled disdainfully, and ignored him. "My dear disciple, does this woman look down on me?" Tian Guangming, with his fiery temper, could not tolerate such treatment. "It seems so," Li Yue said helplessly. "Then let's join forces, master and disciple, and teach this woman a lesson. Your master was given a good beating by her before," Tian Guangming suggested. Li Yue asked his master, "Did you call me along this time because you were already planning to team up and beat her up?" Tian Guangming nodded and said, "Of course, I, Tian Guangming, take revenge without delay. This woman beat me half to death before, and I have to get revenge." "Master, This time it's the master's mission, Li Yue said helplessly. Tian Guangming's expression froze. Since Li Xiandao was involved, he dared not act recklessly. Besides, this woman doesn't have your powerful recovery ability, master. If we join forces and beat her half to death, she won't recover for a while, and master will definitely be angry. He might even take back the immortal artifact you gave him, Li Yue reminded Tian Guangming. You're right. Tian Guangming gasped. He hadn't expected that if he angered Li Xiandao and he took back the immortal artifact, he would regret it. Then let this woman go, Tian Guangming said regretfully. At this moment, Huang Zhou's eyes swept across the room and landed on Tian Guangming, startling him. Coward! Huang Zhou muttered, though it was just a mutter, but who among those present couldn't hear it? Tian Guangming was both angry and furious, and was about to go up and make a move. Think about immortal artifacts. Li Yue quickly pulled Tian Guangming aside and whispered. Tian Guangming said angrily, "This time, my master's mission is important, so I won't stoop to your level. But next time, I'll definitely show you how powerful the mighty Tian Guangming is." Huang Zhou smiled disdainfully and remained silent. She was provoking Tian Guangming, and he seemed about to explode. Lord Donkey and Phoenix Dragon Sparrow watched the whole show, the two of them being the main characters this time, but all along the way, it was Phoenix 9 and Heavenly Light who were bickering. We're almost at the Golden Family, so stop arguing and bickering. This concerns my lifelong happiness. If you mess this up, I'll hold a grudge against you for the rest of my life, Lord Donkey warned. Don't worry, brother, I'll definitely get it done for you, Tian Guangming said confidently. Don't worry, based on my understanding of the Golden Family Patriarch, there's absolutely no problem with this matter, Huang Zhou said calmly. Upon hearing this, Lord Donkey beamed with joy. His pink coat and captivating eyes gave him a handsome yet slightly flirtatious air. It's like the rising sun shining on the flower's stamen, its essence penetrating the flower, yet a few drops are still visible outside, shy and bashful. Phoenix Dragon Sparrow was dissatisfied. She had used the marriage proposal to leave the Heaven and Earth Bank, and now all she needed was her father's rejection to get rid of Lord Donkey. Phoenix Niner's words made her very unhappy. Do you know my father? How do you know he'll definitely agree? Phoenix Dragon Sparrow questioned. Huang Zhou curled her lips into a smile, looking quite dashing and handsome, and said, "Whether you believe it or not is up to you. If you don't believe it, let's make a bet." "What are we betting on?" Phoenix Dragon Sparrow asked indignantly. "I bet your father, the patriarch of the Golden Family, will accept Lord Donkey as his son-in-law?" Huang Zhou said with a confident smile. "What's the stake?" Huang Longke asked confidently, looking at Huang Zhou with a defiant air. In front of this fellow clansman, the Phoenix Dragon Sparrow had no intention of losing face. "Although my cultivation level is inferior to yours, my aura cannot be weak. The person who loses the bet must respectfully call the other person good sister whenever they meet in the future," Huang Zhou said with a smirk. "This is it." Phoenix Dragon Sparrow was taken aback, not expecting that the blockade would be this. However, upon closer reflection, Huang Zhou was always suppressing him, and if he lost the bet, he would have to call her good sister, which made Huang Longke feel uneasy. "I used to be very jealous of her, but now I have to call her my dear sister? No, I haven't lost yet." Huang Longke realized, looked at Huang Zhou firmly, and said, "It's a deal." Huang Zhou said leisurely, "Don't worry, you'll be calling me good sister soon." "Humph, my father dotes on me. I can follow the Tao, not marry, not have children, not pass on my skills, and wholeheartedly serve the Golden Family. I can definitely do it," Phoenix Dragon Sparrow said firmly. "There's no point in arguing further. The Golden Family has arrived, so let's present this visiting card first." Huang Zhou didn't argue with Huang Longke, but instead took out Li Xiandao's visiting card. Lord Donkey is Li Xiandao's subordinate. Since he has come to propose marriage, he must be using Li Xiandao's name. He cannot use his own name when he submits his marriage proposal. Boom. Li Xiandao's invitation was nothing special. It was just a sword aura that could be held in the palm of one's hand. After the sword energy invitation was sent out, the vast mountain range was immediately filled with terrifying auras. The experts within the Golden family all noticed Li Xiandao's invitation and were all awakened, becoming extremely serious. Boom, boom, boom. A terrifying aura surged through the sky, incredibly powerful. This massive mountain range is the territory of the Golden family, where many reclusive elders reside. Now, they came out together with the patriarch of the Golden family. Lord Donkey and his companions waited at the entrance of the mountain range without going in. After all, they had come to pay their respects and were carrying Li Xiandao's visiting card, so they couldn't embarrass Li Xiandao. Ha ha ha, this morning a magpie landed on the window and started chirping. I knew then that good news was coming, and sure enough, my son-in-law has come to propose marriage. A loud laugh rang out first, the laughter arriving before the person. This laughter delighted the donkey master. Is this the ideal son-in-law? Phoenix Dragon Sparrow's body went limp, and she almost fell over. She was struck dumb, staring in disbelief at her father who was walking towards her. Huang Jua was not surprised at all and said calmly, call me, elder sister." Phoenix Dragon Sparrow felt as if a sword had been plunged into its chest, the pain piercing its heart. Father-in-law. The next second, Lord Donkey's affectionate shout caused Phoenix Dragon Sparrow's vision to go black, and she fainted. Chapter 347 Dragon Crocodile. Part 1. After waking up from a coma, Phoenix Dragon Sparrow was already inside the Golden family. Her boudoir contained only one person, a woman. She is the mother of the Phoenix Dragon Sparrow. Mother. Phoenix Dragon Sparrow called out affectionately and ran into her mother's arms, wondering if everything before was just a dream that was too terrible. You're a grown woman about to get married. Why are you still acting like a spoiled child? Her mother's words made Huang Glonk stiffen. Everything that happened before was real. It wasn't a dream. Getting married. This was the worst news for the Phoenix Dragon Sparrow, who looked at her mother in disbelief. Girls grow up and get married. I've met the son-in-law. He's very good and very warm. He called me mother-in-law every time he saw me. Moreover, he comes from a distinguished family and is a good match for our family. Your father and the elders in the clan have all agreed, and they've even set a date for your wedding in 3 months, the mother said with a smile. Phoenix Dragon Sparrow's heart sank to the bottom. Can I change my mind? Phoenix Dragon Sparrow asked. What are you saying, child? Your father has already accepted the betrothal gifts, 1,000 top-grade spiritual dragon veins, and is also preparing your dowry. All these things are on the agenda. You should just wait patiently to become a bride, the mother scolded playfully. Phoenix Dragon Sparrow was completely disheartened. Just then, the door to the room was pushed open, and Master Donkey entered. Mother-in-law, I've come to see if Long K has woken up yet. Lord Donkey called out with a beaming smile, very enthusiastically. I just woke up. You two chat. I'll go out first. Phoenix Dragon Sparrow's mother was very happy. She liked her son-in-law more and more as she looked at him. She closed the door when she left to prevent others from seeing things they shouldn't see. Phoenix Dragon Sparrow's mother had also been through her youth and knew about those things young people did. Lord Donkey and Phoenix Dragon Sparrow did not have such intentions. Phoenix Dragon Sparrow sat silently on the bed, her pretty face looking gloomy. In this era, one cannot defy the orders of one's parents and the words of a matchmaker. Lord Donkey looked at the silent Phoenix Dragon Sparrow, unsure how to comfort her. Can you promise me something? After 10 minutes of silence, the Phoenix Dragon Sparrow spoke up. What is it? Lord Donkey's eyes lit up. It was good that he was willing to communicate. After you marry me, you are never allowed to take a concubine or keep another woman for the rest of your life. Phoenix Dragon Sparrow calmly stared at Lord Donkey. She couldn't object to the arranged marriage, so the Phoenix Dragon Sparrow began to restrain Lord Donkey. She wouldn't get stuck on a rut. Since things couldn't be changed, she would do her best in what she could. No problem, I will definitely keep myself pure. Lord Donkey's expression brightened, and he said firmly, after we get married, I'll be in charge of things at home, and you'll be in charge of things outside, Phoenix Dragon Sparrow continued. No problem, I only serve my master, there's nothing else outside, Lord Donkey nodded and said. Phoenix Dragon Sparrow breathed a sigh of relief when she saw that Lord Donkey had agreed. Although he was a donkey and they had a lot of grudges between them, Lord Donkey was indeed a good husband candidate. After accepting her fate, Huang Glonk discovered Donkey Lord's merits for the first time. Gradually, the inner resistance became less intense. Wife, may I hug you? Donkey suddenly blushed and asked. Phoenix Dragon Sparrow blushed, feeling shy. Looking at Lord Donkey's burning gaze, she scolded. We're not getting married for another 3 months. Why are you in such a hurry? The donkey man deflated and muttered. Then I'll just have to endure it for another 3 months. The dragon flew out of the heaven and earth bank and headed straight for the endless sea. The cold moon hung in the sky, and the ocean's power was also great. The seabed is teeming with monsters, and there are many islands overseas, some of which are so large that they are comparable to a landmass, with large populations, and have developed their own cultures and cultivation civilizations. On the endless ocean, the dragon dived into the seabed and instantly transformed into its true form. A dragon over 10 zhong long. Although it is called a dragon, it has now completely shed its impurities and bloodline, leaving only dragon blood and countless hidden meridians in its body. Once these hidden meridians are opened, the dragon can completely restore its original appearance. Now its scales are hard, like cold iron, its 5 claws are sharp, its muscles are taut, its lines are smooth, and it has no excess fat. It swims in the sea at great speed. The dragon's progress is visible to the naked eye, and it is now full of confidence that under its master's command, it will surely be able to find its original form again. My mother is a devouring python, and my father is a true dragon. Both are of the highest bloodlines. How could I possibly be a mixed-blood dragon? The dragon felt indignant, both towards himself, towards the dragon race, and towards his father and 9 brothers. Because he had too many hidden veins, his father expelled him from the dragon clan. Because their mother was favored by their father, the other 9 brothers suppressed it together. Jiaolong will definitely avenge these grudges. The sea is boundless, and no one knows the extent of the Dragon Gate's appearance, but even within a month, the sea has become restless. As the Jiaolong was rapidly advancing through the seabed, it spotted many of its kind. Those of the same kind are those who possess the bloodline of the dragon race, but are themselves impure and mottled, which is why they come here to pray for leaping over the Dragon Gate. The dragon lurks in the ocean, venturing into the endless sea, heading in one direction. Nobody knows where the Dragon Gate is. This is just what outsiders say. Jiaolong has heard his mother say that the birthplace of the Dragon Gate was deduced by the dragon race as early as 10,000 years ago. It shouldn't go wrong in general. It's only about 10,000 miles. On the vast ocean, a distance of 10,000 miles is a very short distance for a dragon of the boundless realm. So it headed straight for the predicted sea area, transformed into human form, flew out of the sea, and looked around. This sea area is not as peaceful as the dragon imagined. On the contrary, it is full of descendants of various dragon bloodlines. Dragons are inherently lustful. This is evident from the fact that a wide variety of dragon bloodlines were found, and to make matters worse, the dragon even spotted a dragon lizard. The offspring of lizards and dragons. How could they do that? I have to admire them. The dragon was incredibly impressed by the extreme tastes of the dragon clan. Brother, which world are you from? A voice came from the sea, startling the dragon. Looking down, it saw a dragon crocodile. Its massive body, hundreds of feet long, looked enormous and terrifying in the ocean. This is a dragon crocodile born from the union of an ancient ferocious crocodile and a dragon. I am Hon Yuetion, and you are? The dragon replied. I came from the heavens, the dragon crocodile replied. Most of them come from all over the 9 heavens, just across the Dragon Gate, the dragon crocodile said, opening its massive jaws. Chapter 348 The Ancestral Dragon and Yi Feng. Part 2. The dragon stood on the sea surface and began to communicate with the dragon crocodile. How long have you been in Hanuishan? The dragon asked. It's been a year. In this year, I've been wandering around the ocean. Although Cold Moon Heaven is similar to other worlds, I feel that the top experts are still not here, said Dragon Crocodile. The Cold Moon Heaven is only slightly below the bottom of the 9 heavens, but it's better than the Hell Heaven. It's about right to have so many experts, the dragon said. That makes sense. Once you reach a certain level, you'll naturally want to travel to different worlds, and eventually you'll settle down in one of the top worlds. The dragon crocodile nodded, swaying its body as it circled the dragon, looking on with envy. What kind of cultivation technique did you practice when you transformed into human form? The dragon crocodile asked. No, it's just that when the bloodline reaches a certain concentration, it can naturally take human form, the dragon replied naturally. Then your bloodline must be superior to mine. I've been trying to transform into human form for many years, but without success, the dragon crocodile said regretfully. Dragon crocodiles can also cultivate the art of transformation, but they cannot transform into human form. Because it has the blood of dragons. Lord Donkey doesn't care. He has no bloodline and is just an ordinary donkey who accidentally embarked on the path of cultivation. He then relied on a cheat code he obtained to explore treasures and has reached this point, where he is about to marry Phoenix Dragon Sparrow. It can be said that Master Donkey reached the pinnacle of his life and married a beautiful and wealthy woman through his own efforts. Dragon crocodiles and gyalongs cannot transform into human form on their own. Their bloodline restricts them unless their bloodline reaches a certain level. The dragon was able to take human form only because of the bloodline bead bestowed by Xiandao. The crocodile, on the other hand, had no bloodline bead and had a very difficult time on its own. By the way, brother, did you find this place yourself? Dragon crocodile suddenly asked in a low voice. What do you mean? The dragon asked, puzzled. It's this area of the sea, the dragon crocodile whispered. Oh, I see. The dragon suddenly realized that this sea area was where the dragon gate appeared. I've received the news, the dragon said vaguely. Brother, how much spiritual energy dragon vein did you spend to buy it? The dragon crocodile continued to ask. Jiaolong was taken aback. Can I still buy it? A relative of mine told me about it. So, can you buy it? The dragon asked in surprise. You're such a good relative to me. In other worlds, the descendants of all the dragon clans are selling information. I bought it from Long Yunnan by spending 1,000 spiritual dragon veins, the dragon crocodile said with heartache. Dragon travels south. The dragon's eyes narrowed. Yes, it's Long Yunnan, a direct descendant of the dragon clan, an extremely greedy dragon, Long Crocodile said indignantly. He is very greedy, the dragon said with a cold smile. I just went to ask about the price, and he quoted 1,000 spiritual energy dragon veins. I didn't want to buy them. You can buy them for 500 spiritual energy dragon veins elsewhere. But he said that if I asked and didn't buy, I was just messing with him and would have to pay a price, so I had no choice but to buy them, the dragon crocodile said indignantly. It's an old trick, a common occurrence, the dragon said disdainfully. What, brother? You've also suffered at his hands? Crocodile asked. Yes, he really screwed me over a lot back then, and I'll never forget it. The dragon nodded and said through gritted teeth. Long Yunnan, the 9th brother of Jiaolong, was also the main force that helped him enter the 10 lands. He was extremely greedy and loved money more than anything. He would do anything for wealth. Long Yunnan's reputation has long been infamous. Alas, it seems you and I are in the same boat, sharing the same fate. This time, I must leap over the dragon gate, awaken my hidden veins, and then crush those greedy and lustful dragons, the dragon crocodile said firmly. How many hidden meridians do you have? The dragon asked. Hidden veins? I can't count them all, the dragon crocodile said honestly. It's a good thing that you can't count them all. The more hidden veins you have, the greater the chance of transformation once you cross the dragon gate. Then you can become a behemoth, the dragon explained. And what about you, brother? Dragon Crocodile asked with a delighted expression. I can't count them either. The dragon smiled happily. He couldn't count them all. The hidden meridians all over his body were like the stars in the sky, densely packed and intertwined, extremely vast. These hidden meridians cannot be activated again through his own cultivation alone. We must rely on the power of the Dragon Gate. Since we're in the same boat, shall we travel together? The Dragon Crocodile invited. Sure, you don't mind if I land on you? The dragon asked. It's all right, the Dragon Crocodile said nonchalantly. The dragon landed on the back of the crocodile, sat cross-legged, and began to communicate with the crocodile while also looking around. Boom! The distant waves rolled and splashed countless times, forming the shape of a dragon. It was pitch black and had a bloated body, looking incredibly huge, but it must have been very clumsy in battle. Brother, this one isn't as powerful as you. It can't transform into human form, the Dragon Crocodile said. The dragon thought for a moment and said, let's go to the nameless island ahead, take over that island, and then observe the surroundings. Rumble. The Dragon Crocodile's massive body swayed, splashing waves, and it carried the dragon towards the small island. Coincidentally, the black dragon that had previously tried to take over the island also angrily slammed its tail into the sea in response to the Dragon Crocodile. Rumble. The waves rolled in, surging and crashing. This is a warning to the Dragon Crocodile. Don't come. But can the Dragon Crocodile and the Xiaolong tolerate its temper? Get lost. The Dragon Crocodile roared angrily, its voice as loud as thunder, splitting the waves in one fell swoop. Then, a giant crocodile rammed into the black dragon's body. Bang! The black dragon's fleshy body was sent flying by the impact, and it roared in fury. I'll tear you to pieces. But what it was met with was a terrifyingly large mouth. Savage biting. The dragon crocodile's sharp teeth sliced through the black dragon's scales, biting its tail and whipping it around fiercely. The black dragon's body was sent flying, crashing into the sea surface and nearly breaking apart completely, causing it excruciating pain. Get lost! The dragon crocodile roared domineeringly, standing on the small island, looking exactly like a prehistoric giant crocodile, ferocious and menacing. Extremely terrifying. The black dragon glared resentfully at the dragon crocodile, then turned and plunged into the sea, slinking away in disgrace. You dare to compete with me for territory? You're asking for death, aren't you? The dragon crocodile said domineeringly. The dragon descended and exclaimed, with such a powerful bite, even a true dragon would be unable to withstand your bite. That's right, that's my specialty. By the way, what's your name? The dragon crocodile asked. Xiaolong was taken aback. What was his name again? The names used during the Dragon Clan era have never been mentioned since the Dragon Clan was established. He has always referred to himself as a dragon. Name. After thinking carefully, the dragon said, My name is Zulong. Dragon Crocodile laughed heartily. Brother, you have lofty ambitions. The ancestral dragon is an unparalleled being. I have high hopes for you. The dragon changed its name and laughed. That's right, no matter what you do, you have to have a dream. I'll call myself Zulong. That's good, my name is Yi Feng. The enormous dragon crocodile had given itself a delicate name. Chapter 349 Dragon Valley. Part 3. Zulong and Yi Feng drove away the black dragon and settled down on this small island, waiting for the right opportunity. The ancestral dragon transformed into human form and spent his days cultivating, absorbing spiritual energy, inhaling and exhaling morning clouds, which entered his belly, and then refined them to strengthen himself. Yi Feng's dragon crocodile did not stop either. Its cultivation method was unique. Instead of absorbing the essence of the sun and moon, it drew upon the heaven and earth's lightning tribulation. When 10,000 thunderbolts rained down, it rushed into them and continuously cleansed its body. Yi Feng's body was 100 feet long, extremely large, like a small mountain, but it was definitely not a useless, bloated body like that of a black dragon. The dragon crocodile's body is extremely tough. No one of the same level can break through it. Even those of higher level cannot easily break through it. It uses lightning tribulation to cleanse itself. While ordinary people would avoid lightning tribulation at all costs, it gladly enters the lightning and cleanses itself with ease, just like an ordinary person taking a bath. The lightning tribulation washed away the impurities in its body, leaving only the essence. This great dragon crocodile, like the ancestral dragon itself, was only one step away from leaping over the dragon gate. Once you leap over it and activate the hidden meridians, no one knows just how terrifying they are. These days, the two of them communicate day and night, and occasionally they fight. Of course, it's a battle between their true forms. A translucent dragon with a blood-red glow and a dragon crocodile as big as a small mountain are fiercely fighting, and the battle is evenly matched. As they fought, their feelings for each other deepened. They were both straightforward and didn't hold grudges, so they got along very well. Meanwhile, within the Golden family, Lord Donkey is also taking action. His marriage was settled, and the wedding was to take place 3 months later. Huang Longke also agreed to marry him. Lord Donkey was very satisfied. He had already given the betrothal gifts and was now just waiting for the time to come to marry Huang Longke. Therefore, he is now focusing all his attention on Li Xiandao's matter. When he arrived, Li Xiandao gave him 4 contracts. All 4 contracts are in breach of contract, and it will take Donkey Lord, Tian Guangming, and Huang Zhou to recover them. Therefore, Master Donkey summoned them all. In Lord Donkey's courtyard, Tian Guangming, Li Wei, and Huang Zhou all arrived. When the master left, he gave me 4 contracts, all of which were for breach of contract and non-payment of money owed to me by the Heaven and Earth Bank. Our master wants us to finish these contracts, said Master Donkey. Upon hearing this, Tian Guangming and the other 2 became serious and, not daring to delay Li Xiandao's matter, took out the contract to examine it. Of the 4 contracts, 1 was breached by a member of the Golden family named Jinlong who refused to pay. Lord Donkey said, "I'll handle this contract. After all, I'm now the son-in-law of the Golden family." The Golden Dragon clan and the Phoenix Bloodline clan merged to become the Golden family, under unified management. Lord Donkey took the initiative to claim this contract. "Then this furthest contract is mine," Li Wei said, taking the furthest contract with him. 3,000 miles away from the Golden family, on a sacred mountain, there is a Taoist gate, and someone inside has broken the contract. Of the remaining 2 portions, one was for a male host and the other for a female host, so Tian Guangming and Huang Zhou each received 1 portion. "All right, please recover the breached portion of the contract as soon as possible. If you can't recover it, you'll be executed without mercy." Lord Donkey said coldly, "Don't worry, you took my money and now you don't want to return it? Is there such a good thing?" Tian Guangming smiled coldly. "I'm leaving now. If you need any help, just let me know." Huang Zhou turned and left, her figure alluring, a contract in her hand. "I'm leaving too, I must be faster than Huang Zhou." Tian Guangming took the contract and left quickly. Li Wei and Lord Donkey exchanged a glance, somewhat helpless. The Golden family's mountain range is vast, divided into 2 parts. One part inhabited by members of the Phoenix bloodline, and the other part by the Dragon Valley of the Golden Dragons. The Golden Dragon is very powerful, a huge branch of the Dragon clan, but the one that merged with the Golden family was only the Golden Dragon in the cold moon sky. There are about 30 of them. Although each of them has considerable cultivation, their numbers are too few. The Golden Dragons need members of the Phoenix bloodline family to protect them. Otherwise, if they go out alone, they would have been hunted down by people with high cultivation levels long ago. Instead of going to Golden Dragon's Dragon Valley first, Lord Donkey went to find his fiancée, Phoenix Dragon Sparrow. In a garden, Huang Glonk was chatting with a group of her girlfriends. The conversation turned to Huang Glonk's marriage, which made her blush and feel shy. At this moment, Master Donkey arrived. "Why are you here?" Phoenix Dragon Sparrow stood up, her face flushed, and asked in surprise. All her girlfriends looked at Donkey and greeted him with giggles. I need to speak with you about something. It's about the master, Lord Donkey said in a low voice. Seeing this, the Phoenix Dragon Sparrow asked seriously, what is it? Let me use this magical artifact for a moment. I need to go to the Golden Dragon's Dragon Valley to settle a breach of contract, Lord Donkey said seriously. You're going to deal with the Golden Dragon? Phoenix Dragon Sparrow asked in surprise. It's not that I want to deal with it, but that it broke the contract, so I'm dealing with it, Master Donkey explained. Although Huang Glonk didn't know the specifics, she still gave the immortal artifact, the Azure Sea Waves diagram, to Lord Donkey. I've refined this immortal artifact. Do I need to remove it? Phoenix Dragon Sparrow asked. After confirming that she could not change her relationship with Lord Donkey, Phoenix Dragon Sparrow refined the Azure Sea Waves painting. No need, you can continue chatting here, I'll be right back. Lord Donkey took the magical artifact, bid farewell to the Phoenix Dragon Sparrow's little sisters, and turned to leave. A group of girls immediately surrounded the Phoenix Dragon Sparrow, chattering excitedly. Sister Long K, what magical treasure did you just take out? Yes, that magic weapon has such a powerful aura, and the rippling blue waves are so beautiful. Yes, does this magical artifact belong to my sister or my brother-in-law? Huang Glonk smiled and said casually, that was a celestial artifact. Your brother-in-law gave it to me to refine. I'm taking it to do something now. The ladies were dumbfounded. A celestial artifact. Seeing their surprised expressions, Huang Glonk thought once again that marrying Lord Donkey wasn't so bad. Dragon Valley, where 30 golden dragons reside. Dragon Valley is a huge sinkhole with 30 passages around it, and in each passage, a golden dragon is coiled. There were old people, middle-aged people, and even people who were only a few decades or hundreds of years old. As soon as Lord Donkey arrived, he noticed a golden dragon that had been sunbathing standing upright, looking down at him with its whiskers flowing and a serious expression. The dragon asked, "Who are you, and what brings you to my Dragon Valley?" Lord Donkey held up the contract and said, "I'm here to see Jean Woody." The golden dragon asked in surprise, "What do you want with my grandfather?" "Go and inform your grandfather, he'll know I am," Lord Donkey said with a confident smile, his peach blossom eyes blinking. Chapter 350 Invincible Gold. Part 4. The golden dragon, with its long, slender body, looked at Lord Donkey with a puzzled expression and asked, "Are you an old friend of my grandfather?" "I am not an old friend of your grandfather's, but if your grandfather knew I was here, he would definitely welcome me," Lord Donkey said confidently. Jean Long pondered for a moment and said, "My grandfather has been asleep for 5,000 years. Unless something major happens, I don't want to wake him up." Lord Donkey was dumbfounded. He had been asleep for 5,000 years. That's quite a long sleep. Could it be that he fell asleep and forgot to repay the contract? Master Donkey wondered. "Take this contract with you. Your grandfather will definitely see me after he sees it." "This is the contract he signed back then," said Master Donkey. Jean Long looked at the contract but didn't take it. He was still unwilling. "I am the son-in-law of the current patriarch of the Golden Family, so I am considered one of your own. This is very important to your grandfather. If you delay things, your grandfather will be in trouble," Lord Donkey said angrily. "If this angers its master, the master's wrath will bring disaster to Dragon Valley with a thunderous roar." Jean Long was startled by the donkey, mainly because the donkey said he was the son-in-law of the Golden Family, so it nodded and said, "I'll go inform Grandpa. You wait here." Lord Donkey waved his hand and said, "Go on, don't waste time." Boom. The golden dragon soared through the void, entered Dragon Valley, and disappeared into the darkness. Lord Donkey muttered, "This golden dragon clan looks like a bunch of lazy bums. It's quite remarkable that they can sleep for 5,000 years. So many wonderful things have happened in 5,000 years. For ordinary people, 5,000 years is equivalent to 50 lifetimes. This invincible guy just slept through it all. Of course, dragons have long lifespans. As descendants of divine beasts, they are extremely powerful. Although their lifespan is not as long as that of the divine tortoise, it is still tens of thousands of years. It exceeds the lifespan limit of humans at the same level. Even so, 5,000 years is still a lot. Lord Donkey waited silently. Roar. A few minutes later, a loud roar echoed throughout the entire Dragon Valley. The sound was like rolling thunder, powerful and deep, and incredibly huge. Rumble. Then, a golden dragon hundreds of feet long flew out. Compared to the previous one, this one was much larger, and its aura was incredibly terrifying. With just one glance, Lord Donkey felt his body stiffen. This old dragon is so powerful. Lord Donkey was terrified. He was no match for it. You're here to collect a debt. Old Golden Dragon flew out, landing with a bang on all four claws. His massive body stirred up a gust of wind and dust as he looked down at the dragon and asked. Lord Donkey composed himself. He represented Xiandao and could not disgrace his master. That's right, you are Jean Woody? Lord Donkey nodded and asked. I am Jean Woody, the old golden dragon replied. Then you should know why I'm here. Lord Donkey held up the contract, which Golden Dragon hadn't brought in earlier. I know, I think I've breached the contract. Jean Woody's big, lantern-like eyes stared at the contract in Donkey Master's hand. You're not just pretending, you've breached the contract, and the breach period exceeds 3,000 years, Lord Donkey argued, pointing to the contract. I fell into a deep sleep this time, which caused me to mess things up. Jean Woody suddenly shook his head, full of regret. Now that you know you've breached the contract, you must pay the price, Lord Donkey said firmly. What is the price? Jean Woody asked in a deep voice, still half asleep. The donkey was speechless. He hadn't even remembered the consequences of breaching the contract. You borrowed the immortal artifact Great Wilderness Starfall from the Heaven and Earth Bank, and you must repay it. The price for breach of contract is that you must become the Heaven and Earth Bank's mount. Lord Donkey read out the contents of the contract. And this is for this lifetime. Lord Donkey added. A mount. Jean Woody's eyes widened, and a terrifying aura instantly pressed out, which the Donkey Master could not withstand at all. It stumbled and fell after being bumped, which was a bit comical. You signed this yourself. And if you dare to lay a hand on me, you won't survive either. This Dragon Valley will be completely wiped out. Lord Donkey said angrily, very dissatisfied with Jean Woody's use of his aura to intimidate him. Sorry. Jean Woody apologized and took a step back. Seeing its sincere attitude, Lord Donkey said, I have no problem with you. Now you must take out the Great Wilderness Starfall, and you must pay the price for breach of contract. Otherwise, you will definitely die. My master is incredibly powerful. If he angers you, he can wipe you all out without any problem. Jean Woody said seriously, I naturally know how powerful the owner of the Heaven and Earth Bank is, but the problem now is that I can become a mount and never be free for the rest of my life. This is a breach of my contract. In that case, the problem is solved. Lord Donkey said with satisfaction. He had originally prepared a celestial artifact, but now it seemed that he would not need it. The Great Wilderness Starfall is not with me. Jean Woody's next sentence made Donkey Master frown deeply. What do you mean? Lord Donkey asked, puzzled. Was it lost, or was it stolen? Lord Donkey asked seriously. Without this immortal artifact, if Xiandao got angry, Jean Woody would still die. Lord Donkey didn't believe that Jean Woody's aura could compare to Xiandao's. That's right, Jean Woody is terrifying. Even Donkey Master suspects he's at the Emperor level. But so what? On Mount Tian, amidst a snowfall, Xiandao beheaded an emperor who died without even seeing Xiandao's face. So what if Jean Woody is an emperor? He was still utterly vulnerable in front of his master. The Great Wilderness Starfall is not in my hands, but on Dragon Island, Jean Woody said regretfully. Where is Dragon Island? Master Donkey asked. In the heavenly realm. Jean Woody sighed and said. Can you get it back? Master Donkey asked. If you can get it back, I can buy you 7 days. Go and retrieve Great Wilderness Starfall, return it to its master, and then obediently serve as a mount. Then everything will be as if nothing happened. Lord Donkey devised a plan. Jean Woody lowered his head and said in a very soft voice, Our Golden Dragon clan has completely left Dragon Island and severed all ties with it. We are now like oil and water. They will not return Great Wilderness Starfall to me. Lord Donkey blinked, wondering what to do. My master will beat you to death, Lord Donkey said seriously. Jean Woody also panicked, his dragon whiskers fluttering. He thought carefully and said, Can you let me see your master? I am willing to pay any price to get the money house owner's forgiveness. Lord Donkey asked in confusion, What price can you offer to compensate for the loss of the immortal artifact Great Wilderness Starfall? I can hand over all the loyalty of my Golden Dragon clan, as well as countless treasures, Jean Woody said in a deep voice.